Hi, my name is Paul Chetlin, and I am the co founder of the Sage Circle Alliance. And today I have the honor and the privilege to interview Meryl Fury. Meryl is the president and CEO of the plant based nutrition movement and also the co founder of the Sage Circle Alliance. So, this is our first episode. So, let's get at it. Let's go. Let's do it right now. Here we go. Welcome, Meryl. How are you today?
I am freaking awesome almost every day and most of the time. Thank you. How are you?
I am I'm above water. That's pretty good. So
I'm so glad to hear that, Paul.
this is our first episode for our what do we call it? Sage Talk for Wicked Problems. And I love that way that sounds because there are a lot of wicked problems. But today, because it's our first interview and episode, I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into who is Meryl Fury. So
Okay.
let's start at the very beginning.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
just start with your name. Tell me about how you came up with this name, Meryl Fury, and how has it worked with you throughout your lifetime?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, first of all, I didn't come up with the name. Is actually my given name. My mother named me, and that's my father's last name. Um, I wish I knew. I wish I knew my family name history. And I wish I knew my given name history. I have nothing. I have nothing to add. What I have done over my life, though, is I have given it meaning. So, Meryl in French, which was my second language, uh, means blackbird. That's Meryl, right? Means blackbird. And over many years, I have come to be very comfortable with that as almost like it informs my life. So you'll see, like, just for interesting thing, I have a necklace on and it's a bird sitting on a limb. So that's what first name means. And then Fury, honestly, I have no idea. It could be Irish, it could be French, it could be who knows what, because very many African Americans have no clue where our last names come from. How has it affected my life? Every day for a long time. To have the last name Fury, it's a very edgy kind of a last name. It's very edgy. Most often when I meet someone, a new person, or if I'm speaking with somebody over the phone, they want to make my last name Furry, like Furry. And I always take that like, people are just a little bit uncomfortable with the name Fury, even though it's a real word, it's in the dictionary, it's something we all learn about. People are really kind of taken aback by the last name Fury. So they tend to want to make it Furry, and I correct them. No, it's Fury. It's a real word. Yeah, so our family tends to be, and I take this to be a function of the last name. Our family tends to be very, I don't know, direct in how we speak, very forthcoming in what we say. We don't pull punches much. We tend to go straight for the facts and address the facts, in the best way that we can. That's the way I would put it.
Well, thank you. I've got a couple of thoughts on that, and I think that's how I roll, which is I have been attracted to Fury since I met you a year and a couple months ago. And I like the fact that they called you something other than Fury because soon I'll tell you the Chatlin background because it's always Chapman, not Chatlin.
Mm.
Then I want to share something with you. You said in French it means blackbird. I want to read this to you. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. And when you hear that and you know that song, what kind of emotions comes from you on that one?
It is so funny that you bring that up because you and we have a bouncing back and forth of songs all the time. That is one of the things that we do. I was just singing that song last night. That, it's so funny. So when I was growing up, Meryl is one of those names that doesn't show up anywhere. It's a fairly rare name. It's not like Susan or Brittany or Tiffany or any of those. Meryl is a more unusual name. And I've never met anybody who has my exact name. Like there are lots of Sue Whites in the world, or Tiffany Jones, or Brenda Jacobs. I'm sure there's a lot of those names, people with those names. But I've never met another Meryl Fury. So when I was a kid, I always wanted to find my name, like on one of those little license plates that you would put on the back of your bike, or on the little tag that you would put on your bedroom door. Meryl doesn't come up in those days. It's never there. And another thing that I always wanted was a song that had my name in it, like Sweet Caroline, or Layla, or, Lola. I mean, there's so many names, right? And so many songs. Not all of them super wonderful descriptions of the person that they're singing about, but I always wanted a song, and I never had that either. So when I connected my name to mean Blackbird, and I heard that song, Blackbird Singing in the Dead of Night, that gave me a song for my name.
How beautiful. How beautiful. I want to share with you that that was a song that my mom and I played on the piano, and was one of our favorite songs. And it's just kind of neat when, we're connected, you and I, we work a lot together. And I think that we were meant to be. And it's these type of stories sharing that reminds me how we were truly meant to be at this time right now. So interesting. I like it. Okay, Meryl. So, I'm not going to dive deep into, what it was like growing up Meryl Fury, but rather I want to just ask you, like, since the moment I met you, your passion for children is the lead of your life. I believe that you wake up thinking about it, you act on it. It's part of who you are. It's your soul. So why?
That's a really good question. So it's funny, when I was very much younger, so I'm a registered nurse, and I've been a nurse for 30 plus years. When I was a kid, though, and people would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never said nurse. In fact, what I would say is, I don't know, but I don't want to be a nurse. And well, yeah, here I am 30 years into it. What I would say is, I want to be somebody's mom. I want to be a mom. That was the career I wanted, was to be somebody's mom. So that is something that started when I was really, really young. Then I had 2 kids of my own, and that was very important. And then I got a bonus daughter, and that is super important. And in the world of being a nurse, I spent my time in public health. And I watched whole zip codes of people, including children, big people and little people, get impacted by their environment and by their level of education, and what we call the social determinants of health, what kind of food they eat, the air they breathe, so many things, all the things. When you, as a nurse, watching children be negatively affected by their environment is just something I can't tolerate. Like, that is not something that is normal for a living species. Even extinct species, I think every species wants to make sure its children succeed and survive, right? That's just part of the normal process of things. So we are in a position where we don't take the best care of our children. They are getting sicker and sicker. They're getting sicker younger. Their lifespan is decreasing. My children's lifespan, your children's lifespan, your grandchildren's lifespan is shorter than yours. That's not appropriate. Not in the 10th or so richest country in the world. So that is what fires my passion. It's just completely inappropriate. It's against it's against natural law that our children should be dying younger and getting sicker younger, and that we are contributing to that. We are supporting the decline of our children's health, knowingly or unknowingly. We are doing that. So that is what fires me up every day. I assume it's because people don't know, or they have some other priority, which I can't imagine. It's against natural law to have some priority that puts your children at risk.
Yeah, I agree. Let's switch gears for a moment. Okay, let's just switch it. So let's go to here we are about a year and a half ago. You're working in Chicago, the plant-based nutrition movement. You are trying to get into schools to educate children. And you read a letter. And the letter that I wrote, and something happened. Something happened quick. Can you kind of share what your feelings were at that moment?
Sure. So I have been working on the 6 Million Seeds Child Nutrition Project since 2021. It's a project that is A, about child nutrition, B, has 3 legs. One of the legs is get into schools or anywhere where children are already gathered in an educational setting of some sort and speak to the children about eating healthy food. Another leg is do a podcast, which is called Growing a Healthy Child. That's a separate thing. And then third leg is create a coalition of like-minded, like-missioned individuals and organizations to bring awareness to this issue we have with our children's nutrition. So that started in 2021. When your email arrived in my inbox, it was like the answer to my question, where do I find these people who would be open to the idea that child nutrition is important? Where are these people? I can tell you for sure that child nutrition is not a typical conversation beyond my child's a picky eater or my child's a good eater. That's what we talk about when we talk about child nutrition. So for your email to land in my inbox in the moment when I happen to be looking in my inbox was like, it was just the answer. It was like, okay, here it is. I've been waiting for this for 2 years. Excellent. Here's the answer. So that's what came to mind. It was like, okay, bang, I asked for this. Here it is. I'm opening the door and I'm walking through. So I either sent you an email, I think. I responded to your email. And I said, okay, you're on. Game on. Let's do it. What do you want to do?
So I like to keep you on the edge when I ask questions. So I'm going to switch gears again. And I'm going to keep switching gears.
That's fine by me.
Thank you. So, along the way, as a nurse, as a person with deep conviction for children, as a Black female, you're confronted with moments along the way that take pause. Sometimes that pause takes you to a beautiful place. And sometimes it may take you to a place you don't feel comfortable in. When you're in that moment where you're looking for answers, where do you go and what happens when you go there?
When I'm looking for answers, well, there's a couple different things that happen. Sometimes I will meditate or I just sort of like work on the problem right in my head. I'm just like, okay, asking the question over and over again. What is this? How do I fix it? What do I need to do? What if I did this? What if I did that? You know, I sort of do the play out scenarios in my head. That is more and less effective depending upon what the situation is. If it is I don't even know when I necessarily go this route, but there are certainly times where I ask for an answer. I just plain ask for an answer. So I have this habit. It's a practice, I guess. I go out in my backyard, which is right over there, just out that door. I go out in my backyard, which is a very lovely sort of more natural setting. I live in a semi-rural area. Like Milwaukee's right 40 minutes that way and Chicago's 40 minutes that way. So I'm not in a super rural area, right? But it looks ruralish. And I put my hands up like this, usually more like this, a little higher up. And I just say to the sky, okay, drop an answer on me. I need an answer to this. I don't generally ask for material things. I ask for clarity or balance or a solution, or it's usually clarity. Give me clarity, give me an answer. And generally, thankfully, knocking on wood right now, I get an answer of some kind within 36 hours or so, generally.
Okay.
And that answer I take as something I have to investigate, not necessarily something I have to follow or do, but something I have to investigate. I have to take it seriously. So that's where a lot of inspiration comes from, a lot of, call it guidance, to try something that I wouldn't normally try or speak to somebody I wouldn't normally speak to.
All right. So, I've learned over this past year and a few months that you are truly one of the hardest working human beings I've ever met. And I didn't think people worked harder than me until I met you. And I question our sanity sometimes,
Yes.
but the journey's been beautiful to share it with you. But everyone needs support. Everybody needs some type of support. So tell me how long you've been married, and tell me the support you get from your husband.
Support. So I am married to a guy named Jeff Nelson. Now, this is not the Jeff Nelson who people may know already in the plant-based world, right? There is a Jeff Nelson lurking around in the plant-based world. I see that name come up frequently. I've never met him, but I am married to a Jeff Nelson, and I'm just going to point back to there are lots of Jeff Nelsons with people with that name in the world, right? It's one of those. Anyway, so I've been married to him for 22 years, been together for something like 25 or 6 years. He is 100% supportive of just about everything I do. 100%. He rarely will say, that's a crazy idea. Why are you want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. He doesn't say those things. He's like, well, you know what? You want to do it? Go do it. You can do it. Have at it. He'll say, go ahead with your bad self. Go ahead. Do that. So I get pretty much unconditional support from him 98% of the time. The 2% where he doesn't support is if I drag him into my project. If I say, I need you to build me then he'll be like, wait a minute, I've got 7 projects running right now myself. But for the most part, he is terrifically supportive. Wonderful. Amazingly.
It's nice to hear. Nice to hear. So you're walking on the beach and you see this bottle and it's tarnished and you see a little inscription on it and you're rubbing it. And the inscription says, keep rubbing it. And as you're doing it, the top of the bottle opens up, a genie comes out and says, Meryl Fury, you've got 3 wishes. One wish could be for personally you, family, whomever. One wish could be for the world we live in. And one wish is miscellaneous that you could choose where you want to use it. Could you share with us what you'd want for those three wishes?
Wow. Okay, for myself and okay, so for my family as a whole, I would take health, mental, emotional, and physical health. I think that would be critical. For the world, compassion. That we don't have to argue and fight over anything. There's enough. There's enough to go around. There's enough food. There's enough water. There's no need to fight. It's only when somebody thinks they need more than everybody else, or they deserve all and nobody else deserves any. So compassion for the world. And miscellaneous. What comes to mind right now, given that we are looking at a year coming up of, I think it's some unprecedented number of election races, like political races we have coming up this year. I would want our leaders all around the world to be legitimate leaders, to be people who were forward thinking and clear headed, who could put a sentence together, who could lead in a way with compassion and foresight. And to think, it's almost cliche anymore, but they say Native American people would always project 7 generations, right? That whatever they do impacts the next 7 generations, that our leaders would look that far in advance. And that, the short-term gain, personal aggrandizement, personal financial gain was way less important than the impact that their decisions have on the next 7 generations.
Okay. Meryl, I got a question to ask now. You desperately would love to see children of all races be fed better, be healthier, live longer. And now you're heavily into the Sage Circle Alliance, where you have an expectation that, like we have animal concerns, planetary, and always human concerns. And by combining all those with your love of children and educating children, is there a moment where you think, I'm probably not going to see it all come together, but I want to be one of the builders of the foundation?
Yes and no. So
Sure.
yes. I mean, so I'll say no first. No, because my goal is that I see a change before I die. That the numbers of children being diagnosed with diabetes and ADHD and autism and cancers, that those numbers start to drop, that we see healthier food available for children, and that the cultural norm we have of feeding children garbage foods changes. I want to see that in my lifetime. And that is what drives me. That drives me. I want, like you said, I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. How can we make a difference with that? So there's that. And then there's the part, it's like, it's got to continue for the next 7 generations at least, and become a norm that increases, right? It embeds itself in the culture and continues. So I know I will not be here for the next 7 generations. But
I'm really sorry to hear that.
I don't know if I am.
All right.
I think when my body's done, I'll be ready to leave it. It's okay.
I like that, Meryl. So I think that, when we created the Sage Talk for Wicked Problems, um, I personally, as a co-founder with Meryl, kind of never knew how this would come off. Like this is our first episode. So I'm thinking, and this could be hyperactive Paul, OCD Paul, or compassionate Paul. I'm hoping it's compassionate Paul, not the other two. But I'm thinking, like, how do we wrap this in a bow? Because, like, I don't want to give people too much of any one person, but I want to give them enough. So I'm gonna, if okay with Meryl, I would like to do a speed round of questions, and then we could wrap it all up for this
Okay,
first episode.
sure.
Um, all right, here we go. This is what you're gonna shine, baby. Here we go.
Okay. I want
First
you
off,
guys to know this is totally unrehearsed. Talk about
oh
like off the cuff. Here we go.
yeah, I'm in my sweet spot. Let me tell you.
Good.
So, what are your first thoughts when someone says Sage Circle Alliance?
Joy,
What's your favorite color?
purple,
What's your favorite number?
3.
Okay. Did you enjoy being in high school?
No,
Did you enjoy being a nurse?
not really.
Okay. What do you love about being a mom?
Oh, my babies. I love them.
Tell me about the love of animals because I know you have a beautiful dog.
Yes. Um, you know, Paul, that's so one of the things that happens when I get to talking like this is I get all teary-eyed. So you have hit the teary-eyed portion of the program.
Here, let me give you this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So the world is a beautiful place. Our earth is a freaking beautiful place. It's the only place where any of us are going to live. Except the people I know are going to stay on Earth, right? I don't know anybody who's got a rocket to go to Mars or anywhere else. So the people I know are going to stay on Earth. My family, my loved ones, like you, Paul, your family, we're all going to be here. It's a beautiful place. And it is populated by all manner of living things. The earth itself is a living thing. So when you ask me, love of animals, well, my God, there are cousins, there are relatives, there are brothers and sisters. And, so many of us have grand dogs or grand cats, we've adapted that, but so are cows and so are rabbits and so are birds and so are snakes and so are Gila monsters, we all deserve the same opportunity to live out a life that was given to us. So
All
now
right.
I got to tell you, I do have a little challenge with bed bugs and ticks. I'm not quite sure how to manage those, but I'm a work
I
in progress,
imagine that,
I suppose.
yeah. If you could bring somebody back who you lost, who would that be?
Probably Betsy Costello.
And who is she to you?
She was my husband's aunt. She
Why?
died not too awful long ago
Yeah.
of yeah, she had heart disease and high blood pressure and diabetes and thyroid issues. And she had just kind of was getting the idea of whole food plant-based nutrition. And she fell and broke her leg. And she died after that.
Okay. And Meryl, to wrap this wonderful session up with you, I'm going to give you a couple, 2 sentences, maybe up to a paragraph, to put your period at the end of who Meryl Fury is.
Mm. Who Meryl Fury is, I think, like I said, I'm a work in progress. I'm passionate about children. I'm passionate about making the world a better place for all living beings. If I could just maybe say, I'll just say this. This is not so much who I am, but who I aspire to be. It's a Buddhist chant that I put to music so I could remember it. Okay, so I'm just going to chant it. It's a loving kindness prayer or meditation. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be joyful. May we be peaceful. May we live our lives at ease. May we awaken to the light of our own true nature. May we be safe. May we be strong. May we be solid. May we be free.
Thank you, Meryl, for sharing that. And thank you for allowing me to interview and get to know you better. And once again, to those people who have a chance to watch this, I guess on my end, just check us out, Sage Circle Alliance. Join us. We're a family, and you'll have a voice. The voice will get louder with each new member. Meryl Fury, thank you so much for the time you gave us today.
Totally my pleasure, Paul. Thank you.